attorney, you have to look at these cases and vet them and be very careful about the cases you take. And there are a lot of alarms about this case. When I first saw it on the news and I started reading about it, and then you read the transcript of the second dialogue between Dr. Dow and the officer, it's unusual. First question is, who refuses to get off a plane when an officer asks you to get off a plane? Had Dr. Dow refused to get off, had he agreed to get off the plane, as I think most citizens would do, and have the dispute as to whether the airline was mistreating him or not treating him properly, or whether they owe him money or don't owe him money, handled after he's off the plane, after the plane can leave, then we wouldn't be here. So when you read about...
Let me bring Mark in, because Mark, I got to think Arash, I'll let him speak for himself, but would take this case given the opportunity.
I think he would literally knock over his secretary to get to the phone to take this case if this guy called to switch attorneys. I don't know how intellectually honest he's being. The only question is how big this check is going to be. United Airlines, and all the airlines do legally have the right to bump passengers. They don't, however, have the right to bump their teeth, their noses, and their heads.
Now, and Arash, that is a very, very big distinction here. This guy ended up, if I'm not mistaken, missing a few teeth and a broken nose.
Absolutely. First of all, I am intellectually very honest, and I would not personally take this case. I have the luxury of rejecting the majority of cases. I do. I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to make the world a safer place. Dr. Dow, unfortunately, has a checkered past. He has a felony conviction.
Counselor, you're muddying the victim here.
He is.
No, unfortunately, you have to realize this. If this case goes to trial, I mean, 99% of cases are resolved. United is probably going to make the common sense decision to settle the case. But if Dr. Dow and his attorneys are unreasonable and ask for, let's say, millions or billions of dollars, United can take this case to trial. And at trial, a jury will more likely hear of his checkered past, of the fact that he has a felony for prescribing controlled substances in exchange for sexual services.
Let me get Mark in here. Let me get Mark in here.
It's coming in.
I don't think...
I actually litigate these cases. I know how judges rule.
Well, okay, Mark. So does the defense get this in, and should they?
They absolutely should not. When you hear it, you go, ooh, that looks bad. That has nothing to do with whether they used excessive force in this situation. And they did. Their stock is down over $2 billion because the court of public opinion knows that this was handled improperly. This is the only attorney who somehow wouldn't take this case. I find that to be unbelievable.
Incorrect. I agree they mishandled it, but it would come into evidence. If Dr. Dow made a claim that he suffered a psychiatric injury as a result of this, if he made a claim, which he would, that he suffered a psychiatric injury, the defense will hire a forensic psychologist or psychiatrist that will go through every single stressor in this doctor's life.
It won't get to that point. They're going to write a big fat check is what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen.
That's true. I think United will and should settle this case. I'm giving you a legal commentary of what would happen if this case went to trial and why it's not necessarily an open and shut case where Dr. Dow's entitled to millions of dollars. I think Dr. Dow should have complied, gotten off the plane, and we wouldn't be here. Personally, I told my family and friends when I heard about this, I would not.
They shouldn't have treated him like a pinata either.
We need to leave it right there.
That's true. Two wrongs don't make a right.
If United just went ahead and doubled or tripled or quadrupled that offer from 800 to